But let's move on now to the blue side of Manchester, where things seem to be going very well. But it didn't go too well for Julian Alvarez because he has left there and he's officially an Atletico de Madrid player. City selling him for over 100 million US dollars, that is. Now, the big question is, Herc, I have a lot of time for La Raña. For Julian Alvarez, it's hard to find a player more versatile out there. The man has literally completed football at his age. And it's hard for Manchester City to miss anyone, but would they eventually, I suppose, grow to regret letting him go?
I don't think so. $100 million is a lot of money for a guy that, and I say with all due respect, I wouldn't put in the top 5-6 players if I did a power ranking of Man City. And that's a reality. He's one of these players that is a tweener in positions. Is he really a 9? Is he more like a 9.5? Why does he play all of a sudden on the flanks with Pep Guardiola? I look at a team like Atletico more to his suit. I mean, to his style. There's a reason he starts for the Argentine national team. That's his ability to run for others, and those others being Lionel Messi. You're going to go to a team with Cholo Simeone where every single player has to fight, has to be out of a certain build, cut from a certain cloth. He's of that cloth. But I don't think Julian Alvarez is a guy that you think is going to be a Pichichi fighting type of player every year. A goal-scoring candidate or Golden Boot candidate every year. He's a very good player. He can solve a lot of issues, especially if Antoine Griezmann ends up leaving Atletico, as many are reporting, and it comes to Major League Soccer this summer or in January. That's a player that can play underneath and be very good to you. But off the bench, and this year, I can go with a Jeremy Doku, who's only 22 years of age, a Savinho, 20-year-old, who's coming from Getafe. You can go to, or Girona, excuse me. You can go to Oscar Bob, who's had a very good preseason. The young kid, James McAtee from the academy, who you're starting to hear good things out of. I think there are players that can not exactly do what Julian Alvarez did or plug the holes he did, but be just as good. And you're getting 100 million. I think this is highway robbery from City. 100 million.
Shaka, what do you think about it? Because I know we spoke a little bit about it before the Community Shield. And as Herc says, City do have options. That's nothing new. But there's not someone that's quite like that like-for-like replacement for Julian Alvarez, even out there in the transfer market right now, that also comes with, at his age, the experience in every sort of major competition that Julian Alvarez has. So surely City must miss him at some point.
I think they will. I think Manchester City will desperately miss Julian Alvarez. Listen, Julian Alvarez's greatest blessing is his versatility. Julian Alvarez's greatest curse is his versatility.
Yep.
The thing for Julian Alvarez with Manchester City, especially when you have a player like Erling Haaland, is his ability, Julian Alvarez's ability, to play anywhere that's needed. He can play as the out-and-out 9 if you want to give Erling Haaland a rest. You can play him as one of a front 2 if you want to do something different. You can play him on either flank if you want to play a front 3. If again that's what's needed. The trouble is when you're as versatile as Julian Alvarez, people don't appreciate your best qualities, and I think that's where Atletico will fully see the benefit of having Julian Alvarez. Now we could discuss the transfer fee and the merits of it, whether it's value or not. But I think Julian Alvarez makes Atletico Madrid a whole lot better. I think Julian Alvarez having a fixed position in Diego Simeone's plan makes him a whole lot better player as well. So I think Atletico have won here. I think while Manchester City are happy for the 100 million, and again, let's not start talking about Manchester City and finances, but I think they miss Julian Alvarez and the options that he provides to Pep Guardiola when things are different, when Erling Haaland is injured, when Erling Haaland needs a rest, when he just wants to change things up to get the opposition guessing.
Well, as Pep Guardiola said, I mean, it's not that he never saw the quality in Julian Alvarez, of course, which is why he did consistently bring him off the bench. But Herc, when a player is just not happy and you know they're destined for more, you have to let them go.
Yeah, I honestly think both parties were very honest with themselves. This is a situation where Julian's like, I wasn't playing the big games. He wanted to play in the big games. He wasn't part of those big games. And Pep Guardiola is very honest. Well, I can't guarantee to give you those big games. I've got Erling Haaland in front of me. I've got other players who are going to be playing those positions. This is much of the case that Shaka just explained. If somebody's injured, somebody's sick, somebody can't be available, you will plug that hole in, and that's what you're good for me for. So I think it's, for all parties, it works out. Julian Alvarez finds a team that values him and will find his opportunity to be in that front line, be a consistent, reliable player. Atletico get that player of the cloth that Cholo Simeone loves, the fight, the climb, the grit, all that stuff. And Manchester City come away $100 million for a player that they thought was surplus, that wasn't a starter for them. This is a situation, one of the few situations where I think everybody here wins. Will they regret it? I mean, that remains to be seen. I think that depends on other players. Will they regret Julian Alvarez? Well, what if Erling Haaland takes it to the next level? What that next level is for him, we're talking about one of the best players in the world. So will he regret it? Will they regret it? I think depends on what City can do this season. But certainly this is a case where one of the few times where I think everybody wins here.
Yeah, I'm a massive, massive fan of Julian Alvarez. So I'm sure we will get to see him extra close now in this La Liga season because, La Liga is on ESPN. Something else that's on ESPN, of course. And while we're talking about big numbers, ESPN FC, make sure to join the boys, or sometimes K, who holds down the fort and keeps them all in check. It's on every single day on ESPN+.